I made a comment to my ex-husband when we signed our divorce papers, and his girlfriend now accuses me of being the reason he didn't propose to her on Christmas. My ex-husband and I are both late 40s. We're a real love story for 17 years. He was my world, and I loved everything about him. I thought he loved me too, but about 2 years ago, for about 2 months, he was changed. That change was so palpable that I knew in my heart that it was another woman. He stopped kissing me good morning or good night, stopped asking me on dates, and always declined when I did. He didn't doze off with his head in my lap to a movie every evening, always missing the end. Now he sat on the other couch. He stopped saying he loved me, and he stopped texting me during the day. I didn't know what to do other than wait and see, and sure enough, after 2 months, he told me that he was in love and wanted a divorce. I was heartbroken, but I couldn't do anything about it. I would never beg someone to love me no matter how much I loved them. He moved out and started the divorce process. His new girlfriend, early 30s, moved in with him not long after. My ex-husband is very successful, and our divorce was finalized a couple of weeks ago. I haven't seen my ex-husband much since he moved out. I don't know what's gotten into me. I have kept civil and prideful during the separation. I was surprised that he was with his lawyer because I thought he just signed and didn't need to be there. I signed and then looked at him for the first time in 2 years, and just without giving myself the time to stop and keep my dignity, I smiled and said that he now lost the last woman who he would know for sure ever loved and saw him for him and not for his money or assets. He was too smiling at first, probably relieved that I finally was fine enough to look at him again. He complained to our son that I never looked at him anymore. His smile faltered and turned into a shock. Then he started crying. I was terrified of what I just did and left almost running. I got a text from his girlfriend this morning with many insults about me, my character, and my looks and age, because he was supposed to have proposed on Christmas with all the family present, but he didn't. He now refuses to talk about it with her or any of her family, but she means that it was my fault. I've ruined their relationship. I blocked her, but I can't help but wonder if I really did ruin their relationship. I even wondered if I care. All I know is that he looks so old and pathetic. I wonder if I ever really knew him or loved him. Wow. I aspire to be this common life. You were able to obliterate your husband with a smile and without saying one bad thing. Kudos to you. I'm considering leaving my fiancé, 35 male, because of what his ex told me. I, 25 female, have been with my fiancé Sean, 35 male, for 3 years. He proposed to me in December and I happily agreed. I've met and like his family and likewise for him. Our circle of friends have come together. We have a dog and are saving for a wedding and a house. I'll note that I'm an immigrant from an Eastern Europe country while he is fully American. Sean had a previous long-term relationship before me with Kate, 30 female, and he's been open about it. He told me that they were together for a few years but had an amicable split because of differing ideas about their future. He wanted to settle down and she did not, his words. He said they had no kids or assets, so it was easy to split. I've never met or spoken with Kate before. His family doesn't bring her up. When we got engaged, I didn't want to share it online until we got some professional photos taken, which we took a couple of weeks ago. I just received them last week and posted a couple of pics announcing our engagement. The very next day, Kate DM'd me. I knew it was her because the name matched and I recognized her picture from my fiancé's old posts. She was very direct and said that I need to know the truth about Sean. According to her, they did not break up amicably, but rather he left her when she received a serious medical diagnosis. Also, they had apparently been married. I did not believe her at first, but then she sent me lots of proof. Marriage license, hospital bills, even a selfie she had with him in the hospital. I decided to speak with her on the phone and she just told me everything. She said it's her life mission to warn other women about him while she can. I was and still am stunned. In my culture, family and loved ones are more important than anything. My mom cares for my ailing dad, as do me and my siblings. Marriages and family are truly in sickness or in health. If I got sick, would he leave me? What about our future kids? I believe Kate, but I'm also torn on what to do. I haven't spoken to Sean about this yet. This might be a deal breaker for me. This might be a deal breaker for you. Oh my God.
Am I in the wrong for refusing to give my sister an EpiPen? Me and my sister hate each other. It's always been this way since childhood. Neither of us is right or wrong, as we've both done equally terrible things to each other when growing up, so in the end, we agreed to go no contact with each other. We hadn't seen each other or talked for years. Today, I had a housewarming party and invited a few friends and family. I invited specific family members and my sister was not one of them, so I was surprised when she showed up. I did ask her in private why she was there, and she said that she just wanted to congratulate me on my house and to hell with the beef from our childhood. She couldn't fool me though. I know she was just there to see my house. I asked her that she leaves because I didn't want her in my life whatsoever, but she, along with my parents, said that I was being unnecessarily dramatic and it's just one day. She ended up staying way longer than I would have liked and treated herself to the food that I didn't include her in when I was planning. Honestly, her whole presence felt so unpleasant and her passive-aggressive comments about my interior decor kind of ruined my mood. But I turned a blind eye because I didn't want any drama. Later on, she also helped herself to cake, and not so long after, she started having an allergic reaction. It had almonds and I'd forgotten that she was allergic to them. Not that I had to remember anyway because I didn't invite her in the first place. What really set me off was her audacity to ask me why I put almonds in the cake knowing she was allergic. The reaction got really bad and she asked for an EpiPen. I had one, but I didn't want to give it to her because for one, they're hella expensive to just give to someone that you don't even like, and two, it's not my fault that she indulged in a cake that wasn't meant for her. I simply denied having one. They took her to the hospital, to which I assume she got treatment. Part of me feels terrible because the situation could have been worse just because of my pettiness, but I feel like she brought it on herself.
I was a child, my dad took me to a park to compete against a bunch of other fathers and their offspring. It was a daddy-daughter fun day, and they had all these little games set up, and it was really, really fun, even though I wasn't winning a single thing because I was not an athletic child. I can't catch, throw, or kick a ball to this day, and I was not fast. I was not strong, so we were losing everything, but I was still having a lot of fun, and I don't know if at some point during the day, my dad started to feel sorry for me, or if he was just tired of being saddled with a loser, because we were all set to do the three-legged race, and our legs were all tied together. We're at the starting line, and this lady running the race said, "Okay, is everybody ready?" And he said, "I'm not actually." And she said, "Oh, is there something wrong with the tie on your legs?" And he said, "No, I was just wondering, what are the rules?" And she said, "The rules? What do you mean, what are the rules? It's a three-legged race. You just go from point A to point B." And he said, "Yeah, but like, how do you play?" And she said, "What do you mean, how do you play? It's a race. The only rule is you have to go from the start to the finish." And he said, "Oh, really? That's the only rule?" And she was like, "Yeah, man, I don't know why you're holding up the race. It's not hard to figure out." And he said, "Okay, I just wanted to make sure that everybody," and he gestures to everybody at the starting line, "knew exactly what the rules were before we started." And she was like, "Okay, man." She should have known he was being fishy. I should have known he was being fishy. But actually, I was just a dumb kid. I was just sitting there thinking, it's so embarrassing. My dad doesn't know how to do a three-legged race. So the lady goes, ready, set, go. We take off running. I take maybe 3 or 4 steps, and then my dad just hoists me up like a football and runs with me all the way to the other side of the field. All the other participants had barely even started the race. It was all these dads on the other side of the field just dragging their spawn behind them. Dad and I had already reached the finish line. He turned around and looked at the lady running the race, and she was giving us a dirty look, and he went, "Hey, you said no rules." She went, "Yeah, you're right." And then we got a prize.
Am I wrong for refusing to share a bed with a male friend for weeks? By the way, y'all, I am sick, so if it sounds like I am. I, female, am going on vacation with 5 of my friends. We want to rent a house together, and 4 of them are in a relationship, so they'll have 2 rooms as a couple. So there's me and the male friend left. Of course, it would be way cheaper if we slept in a room together and wouldn't have to rent a 4-bedroom house. I've shared a bed with him before during a short vacation, and while he is a good friend, I insisted on having my own room. I'm spending $600 on a 2-week vacation, and I'm honestly sick of always having to share a bed with someone that I'm not in a relationship with. I just want to have some space for myself to relax and not worry about another person. I even offered to pay extra for having a room to myself, but the problem is he can't afford paying extra. So, am I wrong for still insisting on having my own bedroom? Am I wrong for refusing to share a bed with a male friend for weeks? Since there are still questions left, I'm going to try to explain it better. Renting a 3-bedroom house is 2 people per room, so we divide the cost equally. Me having a single room means my friend will have a single room too, so let's say the cost increases by $600. For me, it would be fair to divide the cost between us 2, so each of us having to pay $300 more. The issue is he can't afford the $300, so I'd have to cover the difference alone while we both have an upgrade, and I'm just wondering if that's fair. I feel like I have to pay more to have the same comfortable holiday as the couples just because I'm not in a relationship. Update says, surprisingly, we found somebody who will go on the trip as well and share a room with him, so I have a spare room for myself. And I did offer to pay a bit more as I am the only person alone, and I guess that's a fair solution.